Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-5718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you into the agricultural industry? Do you want the funds to grow your business? Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans is launching the $20 million Agricultural Fund. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, and 2 references, and you will receive the funding to get the equipment, tools, products, staffing, and services to grow your business. Plus, you pay nothing down. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and convenient hassle-free service. Don't hesitate. Apply today at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com or call 405-1257 or 405-3180. Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans. Every day, we help businesses succeed.
Grenache is pleased to inform customers that we've been seeing a decrease in our fuel charge over the last 6 months. From September last year, it was 87 cents, and in March this year, it has reduced to 67 cents. So we are extremely happy for that decrease. What it means to customers is lower energy rates. And it is unique in the sense that last year, from January, fuel prices was increasing, and that's on the world market. So it increased from January to September, and then from September to now, we've seen that decrease. So we're very, very happy with this trend. It means lower prices for customers, and with this, we pass on these decreases to customers. Fuel prices are always unpredictable. It's volatile in the sense that it can increase or decrease based on fuel market conditions, mainly supply and demand, but there's also external factors regarding geopolitical situations, conflict between various countries, and even weather conditions. So fuel prices can change, and it can change dramatically. While we are very happy for the decrease, the changes or increase or decrease is beyond our control. While there has been a decrease over the last 6 months, we still believe that it is fairly high, and caution should be taken in all instances to use electricity very wisely, conserve where possible, do not use electricity when it's not required. Prudent management is always key for our customers.
Grenache, energizing our Grenada.
Hello and welcome to the MTV Evening News for Tuesday, 11th April 2023. The news headlines come to you in association with Quartz Grenada Limited.
It's all about the glam with stylish new frames from Quartz Optical. Shop today for up to 50% off and pay nothing for 30 days. Book now at www.quartzoptical.com. Get the look you want at the price you need. Plus, at Quartz Optical, our eye exams are always free. So what are you waiting for? Come down and get glam with up to 50% off selected frames. Quartz Optical, value you can see.
Welcome back. Coming up in the news tonight, Grenada's Carifta team welcomed by family and government officials at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Grenada to host Carifta Games 2024 after winning bid against Trinidad and Tobago. Part of what is left of the old Catholic Church structure in Grenville collapsed on Easter Monday. And in sports, J.D. Williams won her first gold and bronze medal for Grenada in the recently concluded Hairun A Karate Federation Championship. The details of these and more when we come back.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News comes to you compliment Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever your road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever your road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Nexa, 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 right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Good evening. With the news in detail, I am Troy Gill. Grenada is all set to host the next edition of the Regional Track and Field Championships after winning the bid against Trinidad and Tobago 16 to 4 votes. The development was announced on the final day of the Carifta Games 2023 in the Bahamas. More in this report from Tonya St. Louis Lawrence.
Grenada was voted as the next host of the Carifta Track and Field Championships in 2024, while Trinidad and Tobago will follow in 2025. These decisions emanated from the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association NACAC Congress at the ongoing 50th edition in the Bahamas. Grenada Athletic Association President is Conrad Francis.
Well, for us it went very well. The Congress, as usual, was well attended. We had about 28 countries attending, but only 21 had voting rights. And we presented our bid, which went on well with the participants in the Congress. And Trinidad also presented a bid, and at the end of the day, when voting took place, we came out on top, 16 votes to 4 and 1 spoiled vote.
This will be the third time that Grenada will host the Carifta Games in 2024, following the success of Carifta in Grenada in 2000 and 2016.
The previous games that we held in Grenada were very successful games, and everyone was talking about these games that we had. They always wish to come back to Grenada to a Carifta Games. So we played on that. And secondly, the presentation of our bid. We were well organized, and we captivated the other Congress members. And I think that gave us the edge.
The Carifta Games being held next year is also an opportunity to promote Grenadian tourism, sports and cultural offering while generating economic benefits and encouraging sports development.
As from tonight, we have to start working. We were confident that we are going to win the bid, so we have made a lot of pre-preparations for it. So it's just a matter of putting everything together now. But we have this structure, and it's time to start working.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence.
Team Grenada was celebrated upon arrival at the Maurice Bishop International Airport Tuesday after capturing 10 medals in the just concluded Carifta Games. A welcome home ceremony was held at the airport's VIP room. Following the ceremony, the team was joined by their families and other well-wishers for photo opportunities at the arrival section of the airport. Here once again is Tonya St. Louis Lawrence with that story.
Overall, it has been a very good feeling to go there and represent my country and really and truly make everybody proud. And
to be honest, it was one of the best experiences I could have ever asked for, given the opportunity. And I'd like to thank my teammates.
To me, it's one of the best Carifta team I've been on. This is my third one, and to me, I would love to see this Carifta team stick together, more games together.
Some of the athletes experienced at the just concluded Character Games 2023. The athletes were greeted by family, friends, and government officials at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Sports Minister Honorable Ron Redhead, in congratulating the athletes, urged them to build on the lessons learned at the just concluded Games.
So it was no doubt a pleasure looking at the performances. The swimming as well, the athletes who performed there, we congratulate them, their families, their contributions to our character performance overall. And we are satisfied that once we do what we have to do, next year's character will be one for the record books.
Head coach of the Grenada team, Wayne McSween, says the past 6 days was one of enthusiasm and a true sportsmanship among the team.
They were all on point and they brought out an enthusiasm in competition, and you would have seen that. Those of you who viewed online, you would have seen that. Now, it was really a proud moment for us to look at these children and give off their best. And I want to urge and encourage them, now that we have the games in our shores, that you go and work hard and do not allow others to come and steal everything from you. Go work hard. You have all that it takes. You just need a few cleaning up and technical acquisition to achieve, and you are going to be quite remarkable.
Sports coordinator Corlin Peters applauded the team for their exceptional performance at the Games.
Not only because of the medals that you have won, but the please of your level of and the spirit of competition, the spirit of working hard and fighting to the end. You make all us Grenadian home and abroad proud of what we have seen among your youngsters.
For MTV Evening News, I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence.
Part of what is left of the old Catholic Church structure in Grenville collapsed on Easter Monday, creating some disturbance to the nearby residents and road users. However, there was a quick response by the police, utility teams, and neighbors to clear rubble from the road. According to the NDC caretaker for St. Andrew, Honorable David Andrew, they are grateful it happened at a time when school was out and no one was injured, and he assured the public that within the coming days, work will be done to remove the most dangerous parts. Donald Hostin has more in this report.
45 this morning, the neighbors heard what sounded almost like an explosion, and they looked out to see one side of the tower coming down, right? And it came down into the churchyard itself, but then of course the rubble ended up all over the streets, blocking the right. A very wonderful person, Deborah Phillips, immediately called around to tell people what had happened, and so the Ministry of Infrastructure, as we call it now, otherwise the Ministry of Works, was here very quickly. The police were here as well, and work began to try and control the situation.
That was Bishop Clyde Harvey giving an account of what transpired on Easter Monday morning based on what was relayed to him by one of the residents there. The bishop acknowledged that this structure, which is over 200 years old and was destroyed during Hurricane Ivan, was indeed a hazard, which should have been dealt with before. However, due to circumstances, it was not done.
Since I came as bishop, I think it was a year after I came, I was told that this building needed to be looked at. It's been looked at, but we've gotten estimates, and the last estimate I got was in the vicinity of $140,000, which we didn't have at that time. In recent weeks, we've been talking with various people, trying to get a proper estimate for taking down the tower itself, because we realized that that was what needed to be done. But things move at their own pace.
He also told the media he was thankful that this incident did not occur when school was in session and that no one was injured. Also sharing similar sentiments was NDC's caretaker for St. Andrew Southeast, Honorable David Andrew, who affirmed that to reduce the risk of another collapse, work will begin before school reopens next week.
And there are some key plans to take immediate action to reduce the risk that the current piece of the tower poses. So there are some immediate plans to bring the tower down soonest, but of course that has to be consulted with the engineers, the Ministry of Works, to make sure that things are done respecting all of the technical standards and using the correct equipment and all of that to minimize possible potential for the damage.
Dr. Terence Walters, National Disaster Coordinator at NADMA, was also at the scene. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
Fixed line telephone service at Grenville Police Station has been interrupted due to line damage resulting from the collapse of the old Catholic Church building. Regular telephone lines and internet at the Princess Alice Hospital at Maribor St. Andrew were also temporarily out of service. Over 30 accidents were recorded over the Easter weekend, according to the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, with no fatalities. More from Nikita Hosten.
Odison Fraser, attached to the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, an accident investigator, says only minor accidents were recorded over the Easter weekend. According to the traffic officer, 2 individuals were taken to the General Hospital to be treated with minor injuries and later discharged.
So over the weekend, we had quite a number of accidents. We had 35 minor accidents. We had no records of any serious or fatal accidents. However, there were minor accidents where 2 persons were injured and they were taken to the General Hospital and was seen by a doctor and was released shortly after. Well, at this point, that accident would have occurred at Bailey's Bacolet. So St. Paul's would have assisted in that accident, but we have not much information as the cause of the accident at this point. What I can say is that it was a 3-vehicle accident and 2 persons would have complained of injuries and was taken to the General Hospital.
Constable Fraser explained to MTV News that this Easter weekend saw the lowest number of accidents compared to previous years and thanked the general public and the RGPF for their contributions.
I can say that police officers were out from Friday until yesterday conducting checks at various locations. I think the number of accidents would have contributed, that would have caused that low amount of accidents. In previous years, we would have noticed there is a very high number of accidents as compared to this year weekend festival. So I think that the police being on the ground would have contributed to the decrease.
As another busy weekend approaches, Constable Fraser is urging the public to drive safely and remind motorists that drinking and driving is illegal.
There will be a number of officers on the ground, conducting checks. We would be responsible for parking vehicles at various locations. So we'll be out in our numbers. We urge drivers to be on, extra cautious. We know it's a big festival, it's a big show where there are many artists and we expect a long, lengthy show. We expect persons to be drinking, but however, we would advise that if you have intentions of going out and enjoy yourself, you can carry on a designated driver with you.
A physically challenged gentleman continues to lament that he has not received any response or support from the COVID-19 Economic Support Secretariat or SIS program to this day, and says he is in dire straits and need of financial support for his small business as he is not eligible for employment given his physical condition. Kimani Latouche, who is physically challenged from birth, continues to clamor for support from government through the COVID-19 Economic Support or SES grant funding program. Kimani, who is an electrical technician and wants to improve his small business, says he feels he's being ignored and should be given first preference because of his condition.
If you're talking about criteria for the grant, looking at my situation, I have 2 criteria. I'm not only into small business, which I have a registered small business, right? Once I have to prove things to Ministry of Finance, and then I'm physically challenged. It is not easy for me finding a job being quote-unquote disabled. As I said on a prior interview, even if I show them my certificate which says I'm a qualified electrician, that still does not say that somebody who is building a home or want their home wired, that still doesn't say that they would call me.
He also made recommendations to the Grenada Council for the Disabled so the process can be expedited, however to no avail.
I went through it on my own first of all because it was a phone call I got, but then afterwards the council called a meeting, which that as well from their end was not done properly. Because have they done what I suggested to them in terms of writing a letter with all the names that would have applied, sending that letter up to the Minister for Social Development, let him sign the letter approving that we be given a level of consideration / preferential treatment. Yeah? If they had done that, I think we would have been in a better place.
He is appealing for assistance to build his workshop, which would cost somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000.
The name of the business is Latouche Appliance Repairs, and the contact number is 418-5629. That number is on WhatsApp. I would love to have any assistance in terms of covering that cost, which off my head, it is roughly $26,000. That was for materials ranging between gravel and concrete, hubbards, and the builder.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Mike Sylvester, provided an update on the COVID-19 Economic Support Secretariat's grant funding component of the program, which is no longer accepting applications since it came to an end in 2022. According to Sylvester, the program, though now closed, is being audited as is required by the Caribbean Development Bank, which provided the funding for the 3 components, including the supplemental seed program, income support and training to those in the informal sectors, and grant funding support for small business startups and existing businesses to the tune of $24 million.
Well, as you're aware, maybe aware, the program closed at the end of December of last year. So the program officially closed then. And then what is happening now is really wrap-up activities. So as part of the CDB's procedures and so on, we have to conduct an audit of the program, on all the basically closing or wrapping up activities and so on. That is what is currently taking place.
However, out of the 6,000 applications, there are still some that are outstanding. However, not all will be addressed given the balance of the funds that remains.
But as you rightly said, when the program closed, there were some applications, in fact, quite a number of applications inside. And then there were also some funding that remained. Not enough funding, of course, to satisfy the 6,000 I think that was received during the period September thereabout to December. So obviously there will be a case where many of the persons who applied will not be able to benefit, given the extent of the funds available and of course the number of applications that were received during that period.
That's the first segment of news. More news when we come back.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News came to you in association with Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever your road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever your road leads, we'll make your dreams come true.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
The NLA is giving you more chances to multiply your Playway winnings by adding Multi-X to your regular Playway bets to win up to 5 times more. Imagine winning as much as $1,200 instead of $240 with a $10 Playway bet by simply adding Multi-X. Place your Playway bets from $1 to $10 or in increments on your favorite Playway symbols or numbers. Then add the Multi-X option at the same value to win 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more or free plays. With Multi-X, you must bet the same amount wagered on your regular Playway bets for your winnings to be multiplied. Grenadians, value your dreams and win your way as much as 5 times more with Multi-X added to Playway and watch your money grow. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
It's the 4th edition of Hubbard's Live Free for 1 year promotion. Cuatro Punto Cero. It's unbelievably amazing. You can win free fuel, free drinks, cash prizes, free property and vehicular insurance, free cable, TV and internet, free electricity, free coke, free water, free cooking gas, free paint supplies, free passes to Sunshine Promotion events for 2023, free groceries, all for 1 whole year. And every winner receives a lunch package. Be sure to fill out the entry forms and enter it into the marked entry boxes at all Hubbard's departments and at participating outlets. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2023. Draws will be held every 2 weeks. Terms and conditions apply.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, it can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grenlink, energizing our Grenada.
The second segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union Limited. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
For your financial freedom.
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Bikers riding around the island for the Easter weekend has become somewhat of a norm, but this tradition was marred by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as things return to a state of normalcy, the bikers have opted to recommence their Easter ride. Our news team caught up with some of the bikers and spoke to Larry Hood about their events.
Bikers from around the Caribbean, namely St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Lucia, were in Grenada for the long Easter weekend. Speaking to our news team was Larry Hood, one of the local bikers, who said this was their first year coming together like this following the COVID-19 pandemic.
Since after COVID, everybody pretty much been inside. This is the first year we've really been able to come out and have the foreigners actually come over. So we have St. Lucia and St. Vincent here with us. It was more challenging than all the previous years, but we tried our best to pull it off this year.
Hood said they were satisfied with the turnout.
We are a little less than the previous years, but we still have good numbers. We're satisfied with the numbers.
He shared their route for the Easter Monday.
Well, we started at Wall Street. We're at Hope now. We're going to be going to Tooth Bar in Soubise. We're going to be having lunch there. From there, we're going to go through Belvedere and back into Guelph, Victoria, Surtees, Long Wall, possibly Battery.
Hood noted that this was not a Bikers Association's initiative, just some riders who were out to have an enjoyable time riding. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
As public servants prepare to receive their first bi-monthly payment as of April 14th, the Grenada Cooperative Bank is ensuring that their customers are aware that they have the option of paying their loans bi-monthly or monthly. Speaking to our news team about the process they took to reach out to their customers was Gary Sayers, Executive Manager of Sales and Service at the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited.
We wrote to all our customers, giving them the option to pay their loan either monthly or bi-monthly. We also followed up with calls to all our customers. Many of them answered, many didn't answer, but those who answered brought in their forms or emailed it back to us. We used the route of emailing the forms in the first instance. And those people who didn't get the form, those people who didn't have a correct email address, they actually came into the bank and signed off on the forms.
According to Sayers, the majority of its customers chose to continue with their monthly payments.
We sent out about roughly 1,000 letters, and we got back approximately 800 responses. Of the 800, approximately 700 responded by asking for monthly payment. All right. Some of them, for whatever reason, choose the option of monthly payment, because the reason may be one, like some of them said that their partner, the spouse, or the joint account holder is not employed by the government, and they will make the payment when the funds are available. So those, for example, where the private sector, one is employed in the private sector, and the funds come at the end of the month. Say, for example, that customer salary is paid once per month, and the funds are available at that time of the month. That is when they will pay the loan based on the cash that's available for payment at the time.
Sayers is encouraging customers who have not yet responded to the bank stating their payment preference to do so, noting that they will still be able to make the adjustments even after the bi-monthly payments begin. An official opening ceremony was held on Friday, April 7th as Atlantic Health Pharmacy opened its doors to the public. The pharmacy is said to be one with a difference as they provide island-wide delivery and a 24-hour service for customers. We get more in this report.
Atlantic Health Pharmacy, located in Parade, St. Paul's, promises to be a pharmacy with a difference as they strive to provide additional and much-needed services to customers. Speaking at the opening ceremony and sharing how the decision to develop this new business was Dr. Monique Prince, co-founder of Atlantic Health Pharmacy.
So at that time, myself and Mr. Rick Nicholas, we observed that there was some, it was a little bit just after the COVID season, and we observed that it was very challenging for people to actually get their medications to them. There were many long lines. And so from there, we decided maybe it would be nice to have something a little different. So we decided to start our medical supply store.
Dr. Prince also spoke about the delivery fees attached to the services.
We offer a quality service in which you are not only able to come to our store, but we actually offer 24-hour service. So we have our online store, which is located at www.atlantichealthgd.com. And on here, you can select the medicines, or you can select the the over-the-counter products that you would like to purchase. For example, in the town of St. George, it's free. However, outside of St. George's, we have, it's just the cost of a bus. So we would have like $5 to go to St. David's and to other parts of the country, including Carriacou and Petit-Matinic. We also deliver there. And so we are very proud of this service that we're able to offer.
Also present at the opening ceremony and sharing brief remarks was a parliamentary representative for the area, Honorable Philip Tellersford.
To the proprietor of this business and to your colleagues and staff, I want to encourage you to keep pressing on. Small business like yours are representative of the drivers of the economy. Because what you do, you create employment, and you encourage a circular flow of money, and you ensure that you reduce unemployment, yes, and you create economic activity. And this is how countries are built.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
That's the second segment of news. Regional highlights are up next.
The second segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union Limited. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Matinic?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, When you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Thinking about your new home? Think easy. Think a Republic Bank Home Easy Loan. Think affordable. Think convenience. Think Republic.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3. Republic makes home easy.
Wow, that was such a breeze.
Own your home with ease.
So whether laying that first brick or purchasing an existing home, we've got you covered. Republic Bank will get you those keys hassle-free in no time.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Apply for a Home Easy Loan today for a chance to win a cash prize. Getting your new home is easy with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Terms and conditions apply.
The third segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with Ariza Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Transform your life with Ariza's suite of loan products. Own your own vehicle, education, land, or home, and anchor your roots. Start living the life you deserve by applying for an Own Your Own loan at reduced interest rates. Simplify your life and consolidate all your debts by applying for a Simplify loan and open doors to new beginnings and explore more opportunities to shape your future. Call or send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987 or email us at loans@arizacu.com today to continue your journey towards financial freedom. Terms and conditions apply. Ariza Credit Union, your financial freedom, your future.
Tonya St. Louis Lawrence has this evening's regional roundup.
We begin tonight with news out of Dominica. Police on Tuesday said that they are awaiting the results of an autopsy on the body of a 48-year-old American that was found hanging in the cabin of a yacht last weekend. The police said the unnamed yacht, which was owned and captained by Simon Elias of Washington, was anchored in the Caribbean Sea about 75 feet from Castle Comfort, south of Roseau, Dominica. They said the discovery of the body was made last Thursday and that Elias was pronounced dead at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital in Goodwill on the outskirts of the capital. Now, police in Guyana said a woman has been arrested in connection with a threat made on the life of President Dr. Ifran Ali. Head of the Criminal Investigations Department, Assistant Police Commissioner Wendell Blanham, confirmed that the unidentified woman had been arrested in connection with a threat made in a post on social media that is contradiction with the Racial Hostility Act. In the same video on the social media site TikTok, the Indo-Guyanese woman is heard hollering racial slurs against an Afro-Guyanese man. The video was posted on TikTok on April 9th, 2023, and up to Monday night had attracted more than 98,000 views. Police are also investigating a report posted on social media where an Indo-Guyanese man is urging that Afro-Guyanese be severely harmed. Earlier this month, the executive chairman of the opposition Working People's Alliance was released on Guyanese $100,000 bail on a charge of attempting to excite racial hostility. The 71-year-old, who had surrendered to police, pleaded not guilty to the charge. Guyana is expected to record the highest growth among Caribbean Community CARICOM countries this year, while Haiti will record under 1% growth in 2023, according to the latest World Economic Outlook released by the International Monetary Fund (IMF) on Tuesday. According to the IMF, Guyana, which is now recognized as an oil-producing country following the discovery of the product a few years ago, will record economic growth of 37.2% this year, increasing to 45.3% next year. Finally, in Trinidad, President of the Supermarket Association, Ravage Dipti, Monday called on the police to provide business owners with a gun license after gunmen shot and killed a 49-year-old supermarket owner over the last weekend. Dipti, speaking on a radio program, said that the association has been working closely with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to see how more resilient crime-fighting measures can be put in place because they have been noticing the increase in robberies and larcenies since the reopening of the economy last year. Police said that Bing Zhujiang, 49, the owner of the Golden City supermarket, was shot and killed on Friday night as 3 armed bandits attempted to rob his business place. Police later said one of the 3 men was shot and killed by lawmen, while 2 other suspects are in custody after they were intercepted near the Sawan River on the outskirts of the capital. And that's it for news from across the region. I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence.
This is the MTV Evening News. More news when we come back.
The third segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Transform your life with Arise's suite of loan products. Own your own vehicle, education, land, or home, and anchor your roots. Start living the life you deserve by applying for an Own Your Own loan at reduced interest rates. Simplify your life and consolidate all your debts by applying for a Simplify loan and open doors to new beginnings and explore more opportunities to shape your future. Call or send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987 or email us at loans@arisecu.com today to continue your journey towards financial freedom. Terms and conditions apply. Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
You're watching the MTV Evening News. Sports is up next.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time. Amazing women are classy, fancy, and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
The NLA is giving you more chances to multiply your Playway winnings by adding Multi-X to your regular Playway bets to win up to 5 times more. Imagine winning as much as $1,200 instead of $240 with a $10 Playway bet by simply adding Multi-X. Place your Playway bets from $1 to $10 or in increments on your favorite Playway symbols or numbers. Then add the Multi-X option at the same value to win 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more, or free plays. With Multi-X, you must bet the same amount wagered on your regular Playway bets for your winnings to be multiplied. Grenadians, value your dreams and win your way as much as 5 times more with Multi-X added to Playway and watch your money grow. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
It's the 4th edition of Hubbard's Live Free for 1 year promotion. Cuatro Punto Cero. It's unbelievably amazing. You can win free fuel, free drinks, cash prizes, free property and vehicular insurance, free cable, TV and internet, free electricity, free coke, free water, free cooking gas, free paint supplies, free passes to Sunshine Promotion events for 2023, free groceries, all for 1 whole year. And every winner receives a lunch package. Be sure to fill out the entry forms and enter it into the marked entry boxes at all Hubbard's departments and at participating outlets. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2023. Draws will be held every 2 weeks. Terms and conditions apply.
A home should always be safe for you and your children. So remember to have your electrician check your wiring every 5 years and keep cords and wires out of the reach of children.
We even added circuit interrupters in the bathroom and kitchen and any place where water and electricity are close.
Remember, children, never touch electrical cords and wires and never put objects into sockets.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free.
Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling.
Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using Buddy Payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money. Welcome home.
J.D. Williams won her first gold and bronze medal for Grenada in the recently concluded Hairun A Karate Federation Championship. That story and more coming up in sports.
The MTV Evening Sports is brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
It's all about the glam with stylish new frames from Quartz Optical. Shop today for up to 50% off and pay nothing for 30 days. Book now at www.quartzoptical.com. Get the look you want at the price you need. Plus, at Quartz Optical, our eye exams are always free. So what are you waiting for? Come down and get glam. With up to 50% off selected frames. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Now here is Donna Hostin with this evening's sporting highlights.
Good evening, sporting fans. Grenada won a total of 10 medals at the 2023 Carifta Games in Nassau, Bahamas. Jamaica won 78 medals, making them the country with the most medals, followed by the Bahamas with 46 medals and Trinidad with 31. President of the Grenada Athletic Association is Conrad Francis.
Cameron Thomas picking up bronze in the under 20 boys javelin. Ethan Sam, bronze in the 100 meters, under 17. And we also got bronze in the under 17 4x100 meters, and also bronze in the under 20 4x4. And the silver medals came from, again, Ethan Sam in the 200 meters under 17 boys, and in the mixed release. This was the first time that mixed release was contested at the Carifta Games, and we placed second. And another silver medal was won by E.J. Thomas in the under 17 3,000 meters.
Minister for Sports, Honorable Ron Redhead, joined officials from the Grenada Cricket Association at the Morris Bishop International Airport to extend best wishes to members of the senior women's team on their departure to participate in the Windward Islands Senior Women's Tournament. Minister Redhead encouraged the team to give good representation to their country by performing to the best of their abilities. The minister reaffirmed the support of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture towards the development of women's cricket in Grenada. He noted that his ministry is aggressively pursuing the lighting of the National Cricket Stadium, which will create more avenues for men and women cricketers to showcase their skills to local and global audiences. Cherise Noel, Assistant Secretary of the Grenada Cricket Association, was also at the airport to extend best wishes to the team for a successful tournament. Noel encouraged the ladies to be good ambassadors for their country and reminded them that the association's commitment to advancing the cause of women's cricket in Grenada. The national women's senior team will play 5 matches in St. Lucia, 3 50-over matches starting on Sunday, April 9th, 2023, followed by 2 T20s. The teams return to Grenada on Saturday, April 15th. J.D. Williams won her first gold and bronze medal for Grenada in the recently concluded Haroon A. Karate Federation Championship. The championship was held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and saw juniors from under 14 to seniors over 21 participating from across the region. The Grenada Football Association's 2021 Conference League playoffs is carded to begin Wednesday, after Happy Hill FC booked its spot in the final Central Conference League match held a few days ago. Happy Hill FC beat Combined Northerners 2-1 in a match at Beausejour. Happy Hill was first on the scoreboard with a successful penalty kick from Joshua Sandy in the 30th minute, but the equalizer came in 6 minutes later via the boot of Combined Northerners' Shaquille Jones. It was an extra time 90 plus 5 stunner from Happy Hill's Shane Charles that secured the win, pushing them to the second in the league on 28 points behind Fontenoy United on 34 points. Happy Hill and Fontenoy United joined the top 2 teams of the Northern Western, Shamrock SC and Sunsetters FC, Southern RGPF and GBSS, and Eastern Conferences, St. David's FC and SAFL in the playoffs for promotion to the Premier League. The playoffs will begin with the following matches on Wednesday at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Happy Hill FC versus Sunsetters FC at 5 p.m. GBSS versus SAFL at 7 p.m. St. David's FC versus RGPF at Victoria Park at 6 p.m. On Thursday, April 13th, Shamrock SC versus Fontenoy United at Fur at 6 p.m. The top 2 finishers in the playoffs will be promoted to the GFA Premier League. And that's it for this evening's sports. I am Donella Hostin.
That's the sports, the weather, and a recap of the headlines when we come back.
The MTV Evening Sports was brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
MTV Weather Report comes to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, you can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Good evening, viewers. Once again with the nighttime weather forecast and meteorologist Wayne Williams. The sunny and windy conditions from the weekend continued into Tuesday, as we saw those conditions dominating the weather as dry air continues to affect the area. We do have a strong surface trough moving off the North American coast. We are keeping our eyes on that because within the next 5 to 7 days, it could be, if it continues, even though it is looking as if it's breaking up, but if it continues, it could bring some showers to the eastern Caribbean, mostly the islands to the north, maybe 1 or 2 here also. The haze has also eased. Most of that dense haze is much further back in the far eastern Atlantic. Some very, very slight haze here that is even dissipating as we speak. No significant weather around the islands of St. Vincent and St. Lucia. Did see 1 or 2 showers today, but those were very light. Not much in our area. The fair weather conditions we are experiencing right now would continue within the next 4 or 5 days. The forecast for Tuesday night, that's tonight, clear, cool and windy conditions are expected to dominate. The moon is going to rise later at 11:39 and set tomorrow morning at 11:15. Winds will continue to be very gusty, coming in from the east between 10 and 22 miles per hour. The possibility of occasional higher gusts, a minimum temperature of 23, just a 10% chance, if any at all, of a very, very brief sprinkle. Mostly sunny skies on Tuesday. Windy also. Winds are expected to reach up to 25 miles per hour with possibility of occasional higher gusts. They would come in from the east. Choppy seas, 5 to 7 foot waves. So do exercise extreme caution if you have to venture far from port. Sunrise is 5:56. Sunset 6:18. Temperature will climb to 32. It will feel like 34. Mostly fair conditions in Port of Spain, mostly sunny in Bridgetown, lots of afternoon showers in Kingston. Miami is in for heavy rain, cloudy conditions in New York, and it's expected to be quite warm, the high of 27. London is in for afternoon showers. Here too, over the next week, we expect the mostly sunny conditions to continue, but by the middle to the latter part of next week, we could see a slight increase in cloudiness. That's maybe from Thursday into next weekend, not weekend that is coming right now. Temperatures will remain around 32, nighttime around 23. That's it for me for tonight, folks. Have yourself a great night. Join me again on Wednesday.
MTV Weather Report was brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. Grenada's Carifta team welcomed by family and government officials at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Grenada to host Carifta Games 2024 after winning bid against Trinidad and Tobago. Part of what is left of the old Catholic Church structure in Grenville collapsed on Easter Monday. And in sports, J.D. Williams won her first gold and bronze medal for Grenada in the recently concluded Hairun A Karate Federation Championship. On behalf of the news and production departments, I am Troy Gill. Thank you for watching. Good night.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Danny Michael Moses, also known as Danny Boy and Fig, of Monroe Street, Victoria, St. Mark, passed away on Wednesday, March 8, 2023, at the age of 52. He was the son of Agnes Moses Fletcher, father of Jamilia, Danisha Edwards, Destiny, Kenjel and Danny in the USA, nephew of Helen Ethelyn Britton, Yvette, Janetta and Christine in Trinidad, Leonard, also known as Pug, Darnley, Aben, Lenny, Lennox, and Cuthbert Alexander, brother of Denny Moses, Watson, and Rodney, stepson of Althea Alexander. Many cousins, other relatives, and close friends, including Rufus, Beverly, Joycelyn and Kelvin in the USA, Rachel, Esther, Karen, Popo Boy, Hashi, Nisha, Stacy, Pinky in Trinidad, Tamara and Esther, Mr. Bristol, Red Bull, Design, Kathy Ann and family, Edris and family, Button, Sister Thomas, Nurse Julian and family, Dr. Joseph, Hazel Ann and family, Vaughn and family, and friends and neighbors in the USA, Trinidad, Duquesne, Nonpareil, Waltham, Victoria, and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late Danny Michael Moses, also known as Danny Boy and Fig, of Monroe Street, Victoria, St. Mark, will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Victoria Seventh-day Adventist Church, and interment will be at the Coast Guard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lackwell Brothers Funeral Home. Agatha Lucia Houston, also known as Lucina Houston and Mammy Luce, of Victoria, St. Mark, who resided at Montgranby, St. John, a member of the Anglican Mothers Union, passed away on Thursday, March 2, 2023, at the age of 101. She was the mother of Mother Dolores Houston Lewis, Arthur Houston, Ann Thomas, Jennifer Williams, and Deborah Pear, also known as Wilcrest in the USA, Garvin Taylor, Sherlyn Fletcher, and Beryl Smith in England, grandmother of 31, great-grandmother of 42, great-great-grandmother of 2, sister of Sherlyn James, Kenneth James, also known as Tattoo, Carly James, also known as Sam, David Houston, Hardy Houston in Trinidad, and Boston Houston in England, aunt of many including Fenella Benjamin and Sandra Houston, mother-in-law of Daniel Lewis, Deborah Houston, Reuben Williams, and Luxley Pear. Many other relatives and friends including Dr. Terran Houston, Jamelin Nanny Houston, Cosmo Houston, Natalie Vincent, Thompson Crosby, Cynthia, Loris Thomas, Vero Perrott, Alicia Pinky James, the Lewis family of Douglaston, the Taylor, Best, and Houston families of Montgranby, Glencina, Sister Ferguson, and her caregiver Carol Walker, and friends and neighbors of Montgranby and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Agatha Lucia Houston, also known as Lucina Houston of Victoria St. Mark, who resided at Montgranby, St. John, will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. John's Anglican Church, and interment will be at the Churchyard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Joseph Hippolyte, also known as Stone Man, Short Man, Uncle Joe and Scrappy, of Pedmotar, who resided at Content St. David, a well-known stone construction builder across Grenada and Carriacou, passed away on Monday, March 13, 2023, at the age of 75. Left to mourn are his wife Edlyn Hippolyte, 13 children Deslin Charles, Pauline Gilbert, Devon Caliste, Gillian Samuel, Jude Caliste, Judy Ann Dubisette and Jerin Hippolyte in Canada, Juliet Niles in Grenada, Jenny Lewis, Rachel Benjamin, Janelle, Jolyn, Javan and Josh Hippolyte. 39 grandchildren including Cherlon Caliste, Janelle Lewis, Max Hippolyte and Reba Hippolyte Mitchell in Canada. 16 grandchildren. Siblings Bernadette Joseph, Agnes Carter, Sylvester Hippolyte and Gloria Stewart. Many daughters and sons-in-law including Akira Thomas Hippolyte, Rudolph Lewis and Junior Niles. Many nieces and nephews including Ethelyn Radix, Rosalind Francis, Dominic Mitchell in England and Camellia Stewart in Grenada. Many relatives, brothers and sisters-in-law, friends and neighbours and other family including the McQueen family of Pedmotar, the Beggs family of Laportree and Bylands, the pastors and congregation at the Malmount and Corinth Seventh-day Adventist churches, the Niles family of Content, the Williams family of Cafe St. George, the Fleury family of Carriacou, and neighbours and friends of Content, Malty, Coles Gap, Belle Isle, Rucane and surrounding areas of St. David. The funeral of the late Joseph Hippolyte, also known as Stone Man, Short Man, Uncle Joe and Scrappy, of Pedmotar, who resided at Content St. David, will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Corinth Seventh-day Adventist Church and interment will be at the St. David Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Paulton Tate, also known as Paulton Paul and Paulu, of Lamode St. George, who resided in the United Kingdom, passed away on Tuesday, 28th March 2023. At the age of 88. He was the husband of Maria Rennie Paul, father of Deborah, Elra, Elaine, Stanley and Stephen Paul, all in the United Kingdom, and Scott Paul in Sweden. Stepfather of Kern Rennie in Trinidad, brother of Melka Husband and Joy Christopher both in Trinidad, Elmer Andrew in the United Kingdom, and Carmen Johnson in the USA. Brother-in-law of Deanne, Lenny and Leonard Rennie, all in Trinidad. Uncle of many including Carol Paul in Trinidad, George Freddie Thomas in the USA, Lincoln Paul, also known as Tate, Sandra Andrew and Kathy and Batiste, all in Grenada. Grandfather and great-grandfather of many in England and Sweden. Many other relatives and friends including Connie Sargent, Dr. Anselm Okiki, Ryan George, also known as Pisa Man, Kenneth Bartholomew, Joseph Edgell, also known as Beke, Verna Cyrus and family, friends in the United Kingdom and Trinidad, and friends and neighbours of Lamode and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Paulton Tate, also known as Paulton Paul and Paulu, of Lamode St. George, who resided in the United Kingdom, will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Our Lady Help of Christians Catholic Church, Beaulieu St. George, followed by private cremation. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Marlene Marguerite Pear Ford, also known as Ma Maris, of Fontenoy St. George, passed away on Wednesday, 15th March 2023 in the USA, at the age of 74. She was the mother of Lily Phillip and Joel Ford in the USA, Curtis Springer, Ottomar Ford, Cecily Phillip and Althea Ford Johnson. Grandmother of 12 including Tarry and Terry Phillip, Jaleel and Jadeem Ford, Shanique and Sharini Phillip, Dion Duncan, Shamika Springer, Jody Johnson, and Chelsea Springer. Great-grandmother of Timothy, Tiffany, Isabella, and Aidan Phillip. Sister of Chaz and Dadu Springer, and others in the USA and St. Vincent. Mother-in-law of Jamilia Ford, Marcia Springer, James Phillip, and James Johnson. Many cousins, other relatives, and friends including the Folks family of Fontenoy, Juna Denny and family of St. Vincent, the Springer and Pear families of St. Vincent, the Mitchell family of Fontenoy, Cynthia Braffett and family, Agnes Superville, Germaine, Myrtle, Miss Jones, the pastor and members of the Grand Mall Seventh-day Adventist Church, and friends and neighbors of Cherry Hill, Fontenoy, and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late Marlene Marguerite Pear Ford of Fontenoy St. George will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, according to Seventh-day Adventist rites, and interment will be at the St. George's Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Linda Becker Noel of Corinth, who resided at Mardi Gras St. David, died on Monday the 20th of March at the age of 66. She was a mother of Karine, Thomas, Lyndon, Sheldon, Melissa Noel, grandmother of Brandon, Deanna, Dion, Averi, Ethan, Zorian, Josiah, Sophia, and Lishon, mother-in-law of Kenneth Stanislaus, Lauren Thomas Noel in the UK, Althea St. Paul, Eunice Samuel, and Sheldon Benoit, sister of Stephen, also known as Frank, and Osis Israel, Desmond in the US, Matthew in Antigua, Catherine, Agatha, Daphne, Diana, James, and Muriel in Grenada, Sylvia in Trinidad, sister-in-law of Reginald John and Kathy Noel, aunt of many including Amanda, Lindonna, Junie, Ronald, Rachel, Andre, Thaddeus, Kiswana, Seidel, and Brittany. Many other relatives and friends including Valjean, Zeltina, Janice, Joanna, Annette, Annetta, Nelicia, Muriel, Rita Moore, Carol, Bernadette, Junie, Cecil. Relatives in the U.S., Trinidad and Tobago, past and present staff of the Ministry of Finance, Dr. George Ann Gilbert, staff of the Pedmonton Medical Station, Father Ronald, Brian Joseph and family, friends and neighbors of Mardi Gras, Corinth, and surrounding areas. The funeral for the late Linda Becker Noel of Corinth, who resided at Mardi Gras St. David, will be on Wednesday the 12th of April at 1:30. Funeral service will be at the St. Paul's Roman Catholic Church, St. George. Entombment will be at the Mount Airy Cemetery. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Jeffrey Williams, also known as Javi and Sulka, of St. Paul, St. George, passed away on Sunday, 2nd April 2023 at the age of 65. He was the brother of Jennifer Franklin, Yvonne Piper, and Chester Williams, uncle of Nigel, Sheldon, Kieron, Keon, Amanda, and Ivana, granduncle of Brooke, Gaia, and Zach, nephew of Mintrude, Esther, Peter and Cosmo Spencer, and Joseph Williams, brother-in-law of Ellsworth Tucker and Reverend Peter Piper, close and dear friend of Esther. Many cousins, other relatives, and close friends, including the Cadet family of St. Paul's, the Williams and Pascal families, Tuggy and Pucho, and friends and neighbors of St. Paul's and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Jeffrey Williams, also known as Javi and Sulka of St. Paul, St. George, will take place on Wednesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the People's Church, St. Paul's, and entombment will be at the Mount Airy Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Olive Ross, also known as I.E. of Ravine, St. George, passed away on Wednesday, 29th March 2023, at the age of 98. She was the mother of Martin, Matilda, Agnes, and Yvonne, grandmother of 19, including Joy, Brian, Marilyn, Verna, Wayne, Dexter, Shemion, Vanessa, Henri, Adonna, Marcus, Tamika, Kiana, Steve, Kelly, Kristen, Kenish, Tisha, and Kathy, great-grandmother of 32, great-great-grandmother of 4. Other close relatives and friends, including Nevlin Chiddick and the Ross family of Boca, the staff and residents of Gift of Love Nursing Home, Malmont St. David, and friends and neighbors of St. George's, Willis, New Hampshire, and Annandale. The funeral of the late Olive Ross, also known as I.E. of Ravine, St. George, will take place on Thursday, April 13th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, according to Seventh-day Adventist rites, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Cuthbert B. Alexis, also known as Baker and Cutty, of Richmond, St. Andrew, passed away on Friday, 24th March 2023, at the age of 82. He was the husband of Nellis Rush Alexis, father of Anthony Alexis, stepfather of Cliff, Roderick and Hazel Ann Rush, adopted father of Billy Reed and Eleanor Fuller in the UK, and Rachel Robertson in the USA, brother of Lyris Buckmeyer, Helen, Jean, Joan, Augustine, Rudolph, Floyd, and Albert Alexis, brother-in-law of Ruth Alexis, Dina Whiteman, Clifford, Kenrick, and Roy Robertson, nephew of Walwyn Alexis and Dennis Mason. Many nieces and nephews in Grenada, the USA, Canada, and the United Kingdom, including Jacqueline Alexis and Leroy Andrew. Many other close friends and relatives, including Hicklin and Sylvie Nayak, the Mason and Samuel families of Hermitage and Conference, Christine Joseph and family, Errol Robertson and the Robertson family, Angela John, Agnes Francis, Suzanne Scott and family, Asran Williams, Norris, Chrissy, June Naidu, and the Passard family in the USA, and friends and neighbors of Ladigue, Richmond, De Blando, Plaisance, Post Royal, Walker, and in Canada, the United Kingdom, and the USA. The funeral of the late Cuthbert B. Alexis, also known as Baker and Cutty, of Richmond, St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, April 13th at 10 a.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Andrew the Apostle R.C. Church, Grenville, and interment will be at the Grand Bras Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Fidelis Bethel Ross, also known as Auntie Christine, of Petite Martinique, who resided at Frequenté St. George, passed away on Thursday, 23rd March 2023, at the age of 78, left to mourn her immediate family, Christopher Ross, Doctors Nisha and Ronnie Ross, and Neil Ross, siblings including Agnes Bethel and Bernadette Bethel in the USA, and Glennis Bethel in Petite Martinique. Many nieces and nephews including Nephon Bethel and Sherman Bethel. Caregivers Sarana and Samantha Newton. Other relatives and friends including Lensley Lloyd, Shireen Harris, Mrs. Samuel, and members of the Cursilio movement, and members of the public service, and friends and neighbors of Petite Martinique and Frequenté St. George. The funeral of the late Fidelis Bethel Ross, also known as Auntie Christine of Petite Martinique, who resided at Frequenté St. George, will take place on Thursday, April 13th at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Blessed Sacrament R.C. Church, Grandon, St. George, and interment will be at the Grandon Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Ricky Elvis Alexander, also known as Chancers of Malmount St. David, passed away on Saturday, 11th March 2023, at the age of 55. He was the son of Imelda James, also known as Laurel Lalji, residing in the USA, brother of Dexter in Grenada, Shane, Jr., Ronald, also known as Wire, Kimron, and Kendall James, all in the USA, sister Valerie Frank in Grenada, uncle of Dellen St. Louis in the US, Kelson Alexander, Kim Frank, and Lisa Frank, nephew of George Lalji, Martha Williams, also known as Meralda Williams, and Maudlin Lalji, both in the USA, brother-in-law of Gemma Alexander, close friend of Marilyn in Canada. Many cousins, other relatives and friends including Janelle, Jesslyn Pear, teacher Robbie George and family, the Andrew family of Malmount, the Lalji family of St. David and St. Andrew. Special thanks to the doctors and nurses of the male surgical ward at the General Hospital, and friends and relatives of Malmount and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Ricky Elvis Alexander, also known as Chancers of Malmount St. David, will take place on Friday, 14th April at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. David R.C. Church, and interment will be at the St. David Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Renee Estelle Norvet Pilgrim of Grenville St. Andrew, former employee of the Grenada Cooperative Bank, died on March 9, 2023, at the age of 29. Left to mourn her parents Selma and Dennis Pilgrim, siblings Risha, Monique, Kendra, and Bert, close friend Kofi Blackburn, aunts Frances, Hermione and Claudia Rubin, Nellie, Christy, Rena, and Jenny, uncles Jefferson Rubin, Dexter, and Daniel, niece and nephews Brianna, Vashon, and Bertwan, many cousins including Janil, Sheena, Celine, Enoch, Janae, Kathy, Curl, Carrie, Rhonda, Ramonda, the Batiste family of Birchgrove, the Rubin family of St. James, and others in Grenada and abroad too numerous to mention. Godparents John Joseph and Catherine Harford, friends Shamika Williams, Renatha, Kendall, Anne Ogilvie family, and Lydia Bowen, Josephine Maguire and family, Dr. Kerry Ann Renault, Dwight Maguire, Hazel Ann Robinson and family of Sataz, Christine Thomas, the management and staff of the Grenada Cooperative Bank, the priest and parishioners of the St. Andrew's Anglican Community, Reverend Roland Mark, doctors and nurses of the Female Medical Ward at the General Hospital, Rainbow City Toastmasters Club, and Toastmasters Clubs in Grenada and Carriacou, the graduating class of 2011 at the St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School, other teachers, other relatives, friends, acquaintances, and mourners too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Renee Estelle Norvet Pilgrim of Grenville St. Andrew will take place on Monday 17th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Andrew the Apostle R.C. Church according to Anglican rites, and interment will be at the Grand Bras Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Nathaniel Fitzroy Graves of Montmort St. George died on Monday 10th April 2023 at the age of 75. The funeral arrangements for the late Nathaniel Fitzroy Graves of Montmort St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Abraham Rasher, also known as Satan of Grove St. John, passed away on Friday 7th April 2023 at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late Abraham Rasher, also known as Satan of Grove St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Jadine Emmons Bartholomew of Happy Hill, who resided at Montparnasse St. George, owner of J&J Printers, passed away on Wednesday, April 5th, 2023, at the age of 36. The funeral arrangements for the late Jadine Emmons Bartholomew of Happy Hill, who resided at Montparnasse St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Samuel Everard Holder of Marigot St. John passed away on Friday 24th March 2023 at the age of 94. The funeral arrangements for the late Samuel Everard Holder of Marigot St. John will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Eric George Williams of Woburn, who resided at River Road Housing Scheme, passed away on Saturday 1st April 2023 at the age of 84. The funeral arrangements for the late Eric George Williams of Woburn, who resided at River Road Housing Scheme St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Madge Carmen Narayan, also known as Clary of Industry St. Mark, who resided at Montu St. George, passed away on Monday 27th March 2023 at the age of 54. The funeral arrangements for the late Madge Carmen Narayan, also known as Clary of Industry St. Mark, who resided at Montu St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. David Augustine Charles, also known as Cokes and Elliot, of Mamacan St. Andrew, passed away on Thursday 23rd March 2023 at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late David Augustine Charles, also known as Cokes and Elliot, of Mamacan St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Gracelyn Samuel, also known as Samuel, Nursey, and Graceau of Black Bay St. John, passed away on Tuesday, 28 March, at the age of 60. The funeral arrangements of the late Gracelyn Samuel, also known as Samuel, Nursey, and Graceau of Black Bay St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Darren Tyrrell Jude Kurt Etchell, also known as D Block, of Grand Mole St. George, who resided in Wallaceburg and Walpole Island, Ontario, Canada, transitioned on Sunday, 3rd April 2022, at the age of 33. The memorial service for the late Darren Tyrrell Jude Kurt Etchell, also known as D Block of Grand Mole St. George, who resided in Wallaceburg and Walpole Island, Ontario, Canada, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Lincoln Williams, also known as Boots and Linky, of Hermitage St. Patrick, who resided at Grand Anse St. George, passed away on Saturday, 25th March 2023, at the age of 76. The funeral arrangements for the late Lincoln Williams, also known as Boots and Linky, of Hermitage St. Patrick, who resided at Grand Anse St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Magdalene Claire Charles, also known as Tanty Claire of Bellevue St. George, a well-known market vendor, died on Sunday 26 March 2023 at the age of 82. The funeral arrangements for the late Magdalene Claire Charles, also known as Tanty Claire, of Bellevue St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Dane Bartholomew Hayes, also known as Ashton, of Caliste St. George, passed away on Saturday, 25th March 2023, at the age of 60. The funeral arrangements for the late Dane Bartholomew Hayes, also known as Ashton, of Caliste St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Jonathan Richards, also known as Not Nice and J, of Edward Street, Grove, St. John, passed away on Tuesday, 21st March 2023, at the age of 28. The funeral arrangements for the late Jonathan Richards, also known as Not Nice and J, of Edward Street, Grove, St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Carl Wilson of Springs, who resided at Point Celine St. George, proprietor of Point Celine Hotel or Fox Inn, passed away on Tuesday, 21st March 2023, at the age of 77. The funeral arrangements for the late Carl Wilson of Springs, who resided at Point Celine St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Abigail Mary Sandy of the Villa St. George passed away on Monday, March 20th, 2023, at the age of 84. The funeral arrangements for the late Abigail Mary Sandy of the Villa St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thank you for watching.
In Jesus' mighty